Hello, everybody. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm going to try to make this work with two different cameras happening. So hopefully everyone can see me. And basically what we are doing is allowing the next 30 minutes to be pleasure focused. So we're going to be moving with pleasure. Okay. So this is a little movement class that you don't have to prepare for. You don't have to really be anything other than where exactly you are right now. Okay. So we're going to begin right away. We're going to begin right here. And what we're going to start with is a little bit of a body scan. So what that looks like is we're going to have our feet on the earth, right? So you're standing with feet about hip width apart. And I want you to just start bouncing. So have a little bounce in your knees. So a little up and down. Okay. Side to side, up and down. And feel the connection of the earth on your feet. So we're bringing our attention to that root space, our feet, okay? Side to side, bouncing. Beautiful. So we're just going to start with letting your body naturally sway. So a lot of what pleasure is about is our attention, right? And our presence. And doing moves that let you feel good, right? That are in pleasure. So we're going to start with the side to side bounce, feeling the feet on the earth connected. Okay. Try to do this with no shoes on. That's the other part of the movement practice that we're going to do is it's always going to be barefoot on the earth because we want our feet to be able to spread out, right? We want our feet, shoes constrict our feet and they start melding our bones and things like that. So when we move in pleasure, we want to make sure we're barefoot. Okay. So allowing that to come into the space and then bouncing those knees. Now bring your attention to your knees. Look at those knee joints. Side to side. Again, bend one, bend the other. Let your body sway. We're letting the jaw go. We're letting the tongue go. The back of your eyes. You're just noticing how your feet and how your knees are moving, right? Now bringing that up, bounce again. Now coming into the hips and just allow the same kind of sway coming into the hips. Allow the bounce. So it's kind of like a bounce up and down and then a sway, whatever joint we're in. Okay, so the bounce, connection to the earth with your feet, and then a sway. Beautiful. Whew, finding that breath. Amazing. Keeping that bounce. Now coming out up to the shoulders. We let the shoulders go. You let all that tension, anything you do not need in this moment that does not serve you, you let that go. You let that bounce out. You let that drop from your shoulders down to your fingertips. So if you can see, my hands are kind of shaking. I'm still bouncing. I sway. I let my shoulders go a little bit more. Now your breath gets more involved. Exhale with sighs. Beautiful. All right. Now coming into that neck space. So when we come into the neck, the bounce might quiet a little bit, but I want you to still connect to the earth, right? Before you get into the neck, you still have those soft knees. Your feet are planted firmly on the earth. Your hips are still soft. Your shoulders are relaxed. And then you come into that neck space and you just slowly move it around side to side. Yes, it's nice and slow. You let yourself, I always think of figure eights too, when we're working with the neck, right? Going slow when you're going on the back piece. So when your head's tilted back, make sure you're not just crunching, but that you're like a lift and a back. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the tongue, relaxing the back of the eyes. All right. So now we're taking this and what we're going to do is swing the arms. So you bounce and you let the arms really sway side to side and swing. So if you can see, one arm hits the kidney back here. The other one hits the lung, the side. So if you're really letting yourself sway, You can see how one arm hits to the side here. Yes, beautiful. And keep that bounce. So we're turning on the kidneys. We're turning on the lungs. We're letting ourselves bounce, release, letting that jaw relax. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to step back, so hopefully you can still hear me. But what I want you to do is get a wide stance, okay? So feet are looking towards the corners, okay? Wider stance than your hips. So I'll try to move this guy down here so you can see a little bit better. Yep. All right. So we have that wide stance. Toes and knees looking in the same direction. So look down at your toes. Make sure your knees are looking there, okay? So as we hold this space, well, first we don't hold it. We move side to side, okay? So we let the hips sway side to side. You keep that bounce. A lot of what we're going to be doing here is bouncing, because that bounce, that shake actually releases old traumas. It releases stress. It releases shame. It lets the body, gives the body allowance for space, right? It creates spaciousness. We're meant to kind of bounce and move and allow all of that to shake out. So from here, we're just going to take some big breaths. So you take that big inhale, and when you're up here, I want you to cross your hands and then move your hips side to side. So now you're breathing, and then you exhale down. We're going to do that again. Inhale up, kind of rock those hips, cross the other hand in front, side to side, and then down. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing here are hip circles. Your feet are still firmly planted on the earth. They're still looking into the corners. The knees are following. If you have tight hips, go slow with this. Your circles don't have to be very big or stretchy, right? So listen to your body. And the way that you're standing is we're not standing here, right? We're not putting that booty out. No, we're tucking it in. We're lifting it up. We're dropping down. So that center core line is right in from the top of the head all the way down to the root of the pelvis, okay? So you're holding that. You're pushing the earth away with your feet, okay? So your feet are active and you push the earth away, right? And then you allow the hips to kind of start, well, we're going to start going in one direction. So let's go ahead and take the hips to the right. So when you're taking the hips in these circles, I want you to really focus on taking it back to the side, bringing it forward, side, back, side, forward. So letting it make a big circle on the floor under you. Okay? Feet are engaged with the earth. Really let the hip come out to the back and then forward to the front. Remember, your hips are a part of your spine, which is connected to your head. So it's natural for things to move in a fluid way. All right, so now I want you to tilt it side, side, up, up, up. So we're bringing that hip bone up to the rib. Letting it drop, bringing it up to the rib, letting it drop, bringing it up to the rib. You push the earth away with the other foot. Yeah? So you bring that right hip up, left hip stays down. That right leg is active to bring it up, and then you release. Other side, left leg. You activate, and you bring that left hip up and release. Right leg, up, release. Left, up, release. Yep, up, release. So you alternate side to side. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to tilt and tuck. Okay, so what this is looking like, we got our stance here. We let that booty out and we bring it in. Out, in, out, in. Tilt it, tuck it. You can even go with a little bit of a flow here. where your upper spine, right? It's all connected, so it all might move. It should move. There you go. Beautiful. All right, now let's take this and circle it now to the other side. So we started with that right hip circle. Now we're going to go to the left. Nice and fluid. And just notice the difference here between the two sides, especially as we've been moving through. Yes, I'm so excited to have the people who are here live. Amazing. Hello. Jump in whenever you want. This is just about getting into your body for the next 20 minutes or so, finding that pleasure in it, getting into those hips, releasing that tension, getting ready, or maybe you've already been in chairs all day, right? This is so good. So we're going tilting forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Beautiful. And then now we hit side to side. Again, we bring that right hip up to the rib cage, drop it. Bring that left hip up to the rib cage, drop it. Right, drop, left, drop, right, drop, left, drop. Beautiful. Bounce it out. Let that go a little bit. So bringing those legs out, releasing. Notice how there might be way more energy in your lower body. We just turned on your legs. They were holding. We want that energy to go through the legs. We want it to start building that fire, right? And then you can move it through, kind of calm it down. Beautiful. All right. Hello, hello. So the next part here that I want to go over is just more of a spinal curvature, okay? So we're going to be using our breath. So same stance, feet wide, pointing to the corners, toes, or knees, I should say, following the feet, okay? We find that energy in our belly button. What we're going to do is we're going to take that big breath. So I want you to really allow that curve to happen. Booty out, chest out. And now we curve the other way. Now we sit in, okay? So we inhale, booty out, chest out, and then we curve. Like you're hugging a big tree or a big beach ball. So you want that whole upper body to curve. Your pelvis tucks in. And you exhale. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. Let's do one more. Inhale and exhale. And now coming back, letting yourself walk that off, noticing the difference. Notice how the spine, when you move the spine, you're giving space to the vertebrae, okay? That's really important to do because over time, our vertebrae can start getting gravity, right? As we walk through the world, it can start putting pressure and our vertebrae get, the discs between our vertebrae get smaller, right? So part of what we're doing here is allowing that fluid to move. And we're doing very fluidy kind of movements. And that also activates our pleasure. When we want to activate that feel good essence, right? We want to move fluidly. We want to move slow. We want to move side to side. We want to allow our arms to just kind of give space. Yes. Because in our culture and society, a lot of times we are sitting. Everything's very linear, right? We walk forward. Even our walk can be just very rigid. When actually the way our body needs to move is we need to walk with a little bit of a umph, right? That's like a natural way. It's the side to side movement. Yeah, but that's been considered too seductive. So we've created rigidity. Don't be too sexy. Don't be too sensual. When we walk, it's a natural way our hips move, right? So we're reclaiming that. We're owning this again. And these are ways we do that. Okay, so now let's just go into those shoulders. So just have your feet comfortable, hip width apart. We're just gonna let those shoulders come up and down. So up, back, and down. Releasing those hands. Beautiful. Up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. And then bring it through the other way. Yeah. So this is very basic, just quick little movements that you can start every morning with, really. Amazing. Whew. So from there, we turned on our legs a little bit. Now we're going to turn on our hands and our arms. And we're going to do that with the same stance that we have. So what that stance is that big, wide, right? Her legs wider than hip width, feet facing the corners, knees over the toes. So we don't want our knee going one way and our toes going the other. No, we want our knee to go out in the same direction as our toes, okay? So from there, we find that core, that belly button into the spine. So we lock our it's like a spinal pelvic lock, okay? We bring that belly button to spine. What this is from the side is often when we're lazy in our pelvis, we can start looking like this. I'm putting my hands up so you can see the kind of side angle here. So when we lock it, there's a right use of what the belly button to spine and the core, the transverse abdominis, that deep layer of the belly, is able to bring in and up, right? So it's like its right place. And that's where we come from with all of these movements. We want it to kind of go between kind of being fluid, but even in the fluidity, we have this attention to where our belly is, right? And then we can release and let it all go. So it's both of the yin and yang, right? The activation and the release. So for this one though, we want to bring that belly button to spine. Yes, I want you to feel your belly here. Touch your belly. Okay, this is something I do often. In every practice, we are going to be doing self-touch, and this is part of it. I like to put my hands in this shape, so thumbs together and fingertips together into a very convenient looking upside down triangle, right? It looks also like the womb for women. Okay, very surprising, right? We want to give this space love. We want to give it compassion. So we start there. And then from here, we're going to bring those hands out, and we're just going to start by doing little waves of the wrists. So again, we're just giving ourselves fluidity, but we're locking in this core. So then that way we start playing with our arms side to side, and we let it get flowy. Yes. So as you can see, it's like you allow your shoulder to come up, your elbow, your wrist, and then your fingertip. Okay. Other side, shoulder, elbow, wrist, fingertip. Everything, it's like a balance between tension and release. And that's what we're playing with. That's what pleasure lives in, right? We want a little bit of both. So you just let your body start moving. Those feet are on the earth. Ooh, yes. Beautiful. Let's give it one more time. Yeah, all right. So now we're going to bring those hands together in front of our heart. Hands together. We're going to get that energy flowing in there. So bringing those hands, rubbing them together, get that energy going. And then rub the knuckles, rub the other knuckles, and then the fingertips, right? The fingernails. And now you should be able to feel that energy in between your hands, right? It's kind of magnetic. And that's, our hands are full. They're like, we are energy. Our hands are a way that we play with that. And so they are charged right now. So we're bringing this energy again into our deep belly space. We are turning on that root chakra, that sacral chakra. We are giving it attention and love and energy. So any kind of healing energy that we want to give it, okay? We are turning on this area. We're feeling how pleasurable your warm hands with all that yummy energy can be on the body. Yes. So you just feel it, let it be. Take a few deep breaths with me, okay? And if you need to move your legs, because again, we're in this stance, so it's not about holding and like warrioring through it. If you need to shift your legs and your feet, do that. If you need to, if you're starting to feel like you're getting tired in your legs, movement actually helps, and bending the knees helps you. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but moving will help that feeling of tightness in the muscles, okay? So you keep breathing into those hands. Now I like to do little circles, waking up that energy. Do them clockwise. Whew. Yes. And culturally, a lot of times, especially female-bodied humans, we're told to suck it in. This is where we soften. Okay, we let that out. We soften it out. We don't have to hold this in. This is our power source. Just feel the warmth. That's pleasure. How can you find pleasure? Even if it's a little uncomfortable to be touching this area, feel something that feels good, right? So I always go to the warmth of my hands. Any kind of warmth feels so yummy for me. Okay, that's pleasurable for me. Beautiful. All right, so now we're gonna take that down and just let it release. Release all the way down to the feet, right? So take that energy, release it down. Take that energy, release it down. One more time, beautiful. All right, stepping it out. Now we're shaking our legs. Okay, last little bit here. I wanna just get into the neck and jaw. Okay, so we're gonna just allow ourselves to go slow with this area. Our jaw is directly related to our hips. So if we have tight hips, we probably have a tight jaw, vice versa, okay? Paying attention to this is part of finding pleasure, right? When we can find the areas of tension and then we bring in attention to that area, and then we transform it, we can alchemize it to where we're like, oh, it actually, this is my body and it feels good. We can find the pleasure even in some of the discomfort, okay? Or it changes into pleasure. Some of the discomfort can alchemize. Okay, so what I want you to do is just find, we're going to be standing still, but when you stand, remember we start with finding your feet on the earth, right? So I like to wiggle my toes, spread out my metatarsals of my toes, right? These bones that are kind of in your hands with the top part of your foot. And you just, again, sway back and forth. That's how you can find that energy, is just by moving side to side. Beautiful. Okay, so from here, I want you to just close your eye, or kind of have a soft gaze. So you don't have to close your eyes if you don't feel like it, and it can be hard for balance, but your knees are soft. So we're not locking out. This is the other thing, is when we do these movements, we're finding softness. So we're not locking out our knees. When we lock out our knees, our pelvis tilts and we do this kind of thing. See how crunchy my low back is right here? These are your kidneys. Those are your life, those hold the life force of us, okay? They squeeze them in, we dump forward. And this is something we learn culturally, right? Is chest out, booty out, especially as females. And our knees are locked. We get lazy in the joints, lazy in the pelvis. So another option is when we soften those knees, see what happens immediately? I'm locked. I soften the knees. That simple. It drops the pelvis, it gets it into a neutral spot, okay? So again, you're here, locking your feet, right? Locking your knees, and then softening the knees. So we go into the soft knees. That's what we're doing. So with those soft knees, you find that center, and I like to put one hand on my chin and one hand on my belly. Okay, so soft gaze and just look down. So gently just kind of pull your neck down. So chin to chest, yes. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the tongue. We're keeping our left hand on our second chakra. We're charging that energy, and we're letting the mouth and the heaviness of our neck fall forward, okay? We're stretching the back of our neck here. And we're also bowing down. We're bowing into our heart. We're bowing into our body. We're bowing into the innate knowledge, right? We know our body is an incredible healing machine. It has so much wisdom. So that's what we're bowing into and we're recognizing. And you just let it all go. You let your whole neck go. Beautiful. Now you can release the hands, and then we're going to take it to the one side. So go ahead and drop one side of one ear to the shoulder and turn the chin in toward your chest, okay? So turning that chin in. Those knees are still soft. You can do a little bounce. Now with that, whatever side that is the longest, right? So with me, it's my left hand. What I want to do is bend the arm, and then I'm going to push onto an imaginary table. So when you're pushing into that imaginary table, your feet are still on the earth, your knees are bent, your core is engaged. You're bringing that fascial line, you're turning it on. It can be spicy, so go slow. But you can see I'm activating my hand, right? My hand is active, and I'm slowly just pushing on an invisible table. Yes. Chin to chest, and you can even slowly bring your chin forward and bring it back in. And just notice that and feel that. It can get a little spicy, a little heated. Just notice that. You might get some tingling. And then bring it back up. And walk it out. Yes. Notice what you feel and then between the two sides, okay? There might be some difference between the two. So now we're just going to go into the other space, the other side here. So again, find the feet on the floor, bend the knees, hips soft. Now we're going to drop it, to the other side. So now left hand onto, or left ear to the shoulder. Bring that chin to the chest. Relax the jaw, relax the tongue, relax the eyes. Okay, it doesn't mean close them, but you can relax them. Now with that right hand, you bend that elbow, you engage the hand when your elbow is bent, and then you slowly begin to push down onto an imaginary table. When you're there, remember you bring that chin in and forward, right? So slowly it moves. It's opening up this entire fascial line. You can even open and close your mouth, your jaw, but go slow. It can be very, very spicy, very tingly. Beautiful. And then coming back. Okay. All right, y'all. So those are just some very basic, quick movements that you can do. You can do all of them. You could do this as a practice. You can do one every now and then throughout the day. But this is what we're doing, is we're practicing getting in our body, practicing movement, practicing getting to know each section of our body so that we can find more pleasure as we get to know them. As we understand these parts of ourselves and these parts of our body, then we enjoy them more, okay? So this is how you drop down into your body. So now we're just going to end with some breath, okay? So I want you to go ahead and let's put your right hand on your heart, your left hand on your low belly, okay? Right above that pubic bone, right on that second chakra energy center, okay? So now, again, keeping those knees bent, I want you to just find your breath. And I want you to focus on the exhale. So just inhale through your nose or through your mouth, whatever feels good, and make the sigh as you release. And I want you to repeat after me. I love you. I give you compassion. Pleasure is my birthright. and I am here to be in pleasure. Whew. Beautiful. All right, y'all shake that out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will be doing more of these. If you're interested, let me know how this was. Can put it in the comments. Can always find me and more of what I do at MoniqueGomez.com. And don't forget to sign up for the raw email newsletter where you get to get all the things that I am doing. Basically, it's a once a week newsletter, keeping you posted, giving you some love that I don't share anywhere else. Okay, so get on that newsletter, and I will be coming up with some new course coming out called it's all about pleasure. So it's the pleasure codes. Check it out. I'm excited for you to see that. But let me know how this was, how it was to get in your body. And next time, I'm excited to see you. If you want anything else or want some specific moves or topics or things like that that you're into, let me know. Okay, thanks again. We'll see you next time.